Hey everybody, it's Son of Beast and Roy Cruz again, and this is the second game of the night for the regular season tournament. If you watched the first game already, you noticed that this was a big upset of the night. It was Columbus Blue Jackets that took over its victory over Detroit Red Wings, and it's a big, uncomfortable score for Detroit Red Wings to try to tie it up. But therefore, the third seed team advances to the conference finals to face against the winning team between the Caps or the Islanders, and they'll have to see if they head to Washington or they will face home against the New York Islanders. But now the next part of the game on the other side is the St. Louis Blues, and they're facing against Seattle Kraken. That's the next game on its side. So here are tonight's starting goaltenders as we join the cord for the Kraken and for the Blues, Jordan Binnington. Here's tonight's starting X-Factor players for Seattle Kraken. Start off for Jared McCann. He has that pressure T on the building shots with Vince Dunn. The other hand has a send-it pass and a tape-to-tape zones and the precise and powerful passes. Brandon Montour with the illy edges and the rocket blast with the heavy slap shots. Jordan Eberle with the beauty backhander and a big tipper. Matty Beniers with the no contest zone. Chandler Stephenson with only the wheels and a fast skating speed. Then it's Eli Tolvanen with the rocket blast, and finally it's Capo Caco with the unstoppable force. Now the other side will determine to be for the St. Louis Blues. We've got a big ones here for tonight. Robertson with only the tape-to-tape zones and the ankle breaker. Jordan Kyrou with the wheels and the tape-to-tape zones. Colton Barreto with the stick-em-up ability and the warrior resistant. Performance on the effort is Cam Fowler. Wheels on the illy edges and a sharp nipple turrets. Starting goaltender is Jordan Binnington with the recharging rapidly on the recover. Pavel Buchnevich with the illy edges and the big tipper. Then across is Dylan Holloway with the spark plug and the quick pick zone. And then it's Jonathan Dronin with the tape-to-tape zones. And lastly is Nathan Walker. Pressure is battling the shot on the momentum. So therefore, that's all the players we have. One team for Kraken has won in a shootout against the Winnipeg Jets. And for the St. Louis Blues, they beat the Vancouver Canucks. But now they meet together in the second round. Who is going to the conference finals between the Kraken or the Blues? Find out where the game starts now. My next broadcasting partner of the commentary I will have is Willie from St. Louis. He's also along with the others with ballpoint pen, and for commentary will be Terry Cruz for tonight. And for the center ice, welcome back is Silver Spoon. It's going to be a great matchup to show how it's done. And we'll see you all folks later for the intermission reports and a post-game show after this. Time to get settled. Kraken, Blues, next on EA Sports. Big nights here in St. Louis. Hi everybody, I am Willie and I'm here with my broadcast partner along with Ballpoint Pen and Terry Cruz. We're ready to set for the second round of the regular season tournament. Both teams are ready to get on to the puck drop and we are underway in St. Louis. Puck is ready and we are ready to go. Tonight's starting goaltenders is right in the range between Jordan Binnington and for Seattle Kraken, Joey Daccord. Tonight's start off will be Jimmy Snuggle will find Thomas. Here's Thomas to find over to Philip Broberg the other way. On the rush, Broberg to find a Holloway shot is blocked up and redeflected off of Broberg and glove save by Daccord. Daccord will be able to hang things on to start off for the first period, and both shots on goal is 1-1. Start off with the Blues here as we notice has Pavel Buchnevich. One of the best part of the plays, and we always have to see how that Jordan Barreto will find it over to Buchnevich, a better play and effort to have that on goal. Well, as you've never seen before, the last thing that we really have to notice that most people are really asking for about Jordan Binnington. But for most likely, that's for Pavel Buchnevich, he's really like to show a lot of his answers. Better Creason is a better zone to have that one play an option. Not anybody can be great at it, but as for any players, can definitely try to be Jordan Binnington to have that one saving up. It's better energy to keep the things from going. We'll see how this one happens with the Blues on the edge. Thomas now finds it over to Eberle the other way for the Kraken. Kraken back in the offense zone. Rebound by Kessel. Here's the pass over to Cam Fowler. Fowler finds Holloway. Last time he was injured right now, he wasn't able to play every period against the Vancouver Canucks as he's been entered and exited out of the ice here since the last round happened to be the win over Vancouver. Yeah, it's definitely what happens with only Dylan Holloway. And the only thing that happened with this, it just couldn't get back in the zone. And this is a lot of big hit. And everybody's been watching on this, and no matter how well you do, you just really can't play it out. I mean, that's definitely where everybody starts coming in and rushing toward the attackers. It definitely gets hard, but not anybody can be playing afterward. They're going to have to try to find a good look at the answer to see where it gets. Here's Montour to find it over to Kako for Seattle. Kako finding Stephenson. Big save by Binnington. 13, 17, 13 to go in the first period, and they'll be able to have another puck drop ready. Blues starting to look some confident speeds here, and Seattle Kraken trying to have it all. Another win by the Seattle. A shot, big save by Binnington. Cam Fowler with the rebound, and for the Blues, they'll have it exit out. What a save happens to be Jordan Binnington. That is a big recharging save tonight. He had to be clear to get another effort. Stop made by Joey DeCour. Montour back to overside Osaic. Oleksiak now back into the Kraken to the Blues territory, and a blocker save made by Binnington. Has that around the boards. Here's Cam Fowler. He'll find it over to Jimmy Snuggerud. Snuggerud to find to Robert Thomas. Thomas swing and misses. It's here by Holloway, and here is Kako. And it's over to Frederick Goodrow. The Garda Montour shot blocked and rebounded up by Fowler. Fowler will swing it to Holloway. Holloway pass to Suter. Suter chance, saved by DeCour. And only 15-19 to go in the first period. They'll be able to have another puck drop coming up. We've seen them before in Seattle Kraken. They got midway to the next round as they beat against the Winnipeg Jets. And it was not easy enough that they really choose to often to go over it or under it as Winnipeg Jets try to tie that one up and get a lead. It was not an answer for this as Joey DeCour wins the road trip, and they have it all. He scores! Howie Tobin with the first of the goal against St. Louis. They got to start off for Seattle. Well, that big draw in the battle of this happened to be Eli Tobin. That one swing in the corner and then goes right into the net. As you see that fire-up shot happens to Eli Tobin. That one sends a rocket of 104 miles per hour. That one beats it over and then broken his stick. You see that reaction here from the Blues, and this defender, it really goes off the Parayko stick and then broken it up, and then that's a goal that goes right in the net. Despite the effort here, I was noticing that the Blues really had found a struggle enough with the stick, and that one sticks it up high, and then that deflects it right into the net. That's definitely where that first goal might have been appearing for Seattle to try to keep it out of the way. There's Eli Tobin the other way for Seattle. The long right. Pass to Payton. Payton, the pass, Larson shot, saved by Binnington. Payton shot, recharged it, shot went wide. And the rebound here by Tobin. Tobin shot, saved by Binnington. Phil Broberg now has it to Pavel Buchnevich. He'll start that off for the Blues. Buchnevich shot, save again by DeCour. Jordan Kyrou shot, another save made by DeCour. Outside Broberg, looks to Buchnevich. Shoots, he runs the goalpost. Ricochets out, and it stays out of the way. That's McCann. Oh, he would have had a nice goal in the effort. What a transfer with Buchnevich, but that really denies it. Way to the rejection. St. Louis the other way, Colton Parayko, daggering in the move. Poked it up with the stick, and it's back again to Larson. He finds Winterton. Seattle the other way. That one is tipped up by Torchenko. In motion, Torchenko with the shot made by DeCour. We'll stop that in play with only 12:24 to go in the first period. A lot of time left to be played in the period. Colton Parayko trying to get a lot of energy up here as a 1-0 start for Seattle. Evans goes right to the board. Matty Beniers has it over to Jordan Eberle. Here's a switch to McMahon. McMahon shot, saved by Binnington. And Bennington will have it recharged up for under 12 minutes in the first period. Alright, I will now have it over in the center box is Silver Spoon. And this one will change it over to Golden Pareko. Thanks, guys. Golden Pareko was really the change-up to give all the tape-to-tape effort. When a startup is really playing his performance, he really has to change it up to. The whole entire ability has to keep the change or as simple as they get. But one thing is for sure for Golden Pareko, he has to learn to make the save and keep believing a better effort. Next game up for tonight is for the St. Louis Blues. They will have to see how that one will get the first goal to have that ramped up for the St. Louis. Let's see when it changes up for Tomachenko and Pareko. Back to you. Thank you so much, Silver Spoon. And now as Suter enters the attacking zone, he'll get a rebound. Van Link with the chance, and a shot is knocked off, and it's now the other way for Seattle. Matty Beniers the other way for Seattle. Everly, shot block saved by Bennington. Bennington will try to hang it here with only 10-14 to go in the first period. And they're ready for another puck drop. Let's go back the other way as now for Seattle. This will be all for Jared, as for McMahon the other way. Thank you, fellas. As for McMahon, he really has given some of the use of it on his own heart. The batting string of it only really has to give one option. But for McMahon, right in between from, as for Matty Beniers, he's really trying to have it on his better performances, and without Vince Dunn, it will be hard enough to have it one blanking it out. McCann is really trying to see what he can definitely do for. And as for anybody can definitely try to leave that one in the comment section to say as McCann has really got the better take, this is definitely the answer where it will take. Let's see what McCann takes on his defense. Back to you. Another save by the corner. And now here's Snugglrod. He took some weight on the hit and spread him on toward the other way to Lasaya. That's definitely where it is equivalent to. And that's another hit down to Smackle. That Kraken Unleashed is going to definitely knock it over. Another save made by Binnington. 8:45 left to go in the first period. Kako Randy scores. Kako ricochets off in and into that, and they get a Kraken with the 2-0 lead. Well, I would have mentioned that, but that's another one-patch save for Decor. And watch what happens with Kako. He takes it away, and now this one it goes right the other way in the Blues territory, and he has that one beaten. That's a great help here for defenders on the Kraken, and Kako really ricocheted in the net. That is a great stop. Kraken up by 2, and as the St. Louis Blues are starting to be the desperate on the goal, 11:20 was the time on the goal for Kako. He really had to do all of it, and as Kako really need to get that one better saved, he really needs a lot of help. Everybody's been trying to look here for some goals here for the Blues. They can't leave it out. Broberg swinging a miss here, and that is back to Kraken. Here's Kraken the other way. Pass from Broberg is broken up. Pareko back to Kraken. He looks over to Tolvanen. Broberg to pass to Holloway. Holloway on the breakaway chain. Goes back to Dronen, fires, and blocker saved again by the cord. Broberg swings it, another save at the cord. Thomas battling along the puck ball. Going all the way. In motion in front. Robert Thomas will get the rebound. Back outside Broberg. Broberg in control. Broken by Novi Tolvanen. Under 7 minutes to go in the first period. Tolvanen swings it, fire shot, save made by Binnington. Golden Pareko to find over to Dronen. Dronen in the wing. Off the angle, right, take the piece. Another big hit down by Kraken. Broken by Suter. The Blues will have a new line group change, and he'll now find Golden Pareko. Suter's out, Rawlins back on. Eli Tolvanen sends it out into the blue line. Pavel Buchnevich will send it over to Tyler Tucker. Alexei Toporchenko again to Neighbors. Neighbors with a chance. That one is off the skater again with the deflection and traffic, and now back to Chandler Stephenson. Stephenson finds to McMahon. McMahon in wait. Everly in front, off the glove of Binnington, rebounded by McMahon. Stephenson outside of it, and that swings for Larson. Big save by Binnington. Jordan Everly, McCann misses on a backhander. Cover hit by the Blues. What a save that is. I mean, that's where Binghamton is really getting off. This recharging is going to get a lot of rehydration. Ballard shot, another save with the core. Vince Dunn. Back to Larson the other way. Seattle back into St. Louis territory. And a save off. That was wide again. Tyler Tucker finding Torbachenko. Torbachenko rushes right into the wing. That one is rebounded by Torbachenko. Al on the puck. Rebounded by Neighbors. Neighbors. Mullet shot. Stop on the blocker by DeCord. 3:30 to go in the first period. Matty Beniers on the wing. Moves around. Big save by Bennington. 3:14 to go in the first period. St. Louis trying to have a little bit of a tough situation. But as for Bennington, all in the recharging save. What a nice effort. And you see that Bennington was making a recharging save. That one is turning it over. You won't believe this, but that really was a nice recharging effort to have that swinging by. When Bennington really did this, and that is a pat-on save, you have to make sure you're really watching it, pay full attention. Whatever happens with that, you can't let it get away with that. Brandon Montour seeing the Rocket on the blast. It's now still a 2-0 lead Seattle. Now the win for Seattle on the shot block again. And rebound by Everly. Everly with the puck chains. Rebound by Tucker. Malik will find it over Dvorsky. Dvorsky in middle, and a save made again by DeCord. Foul on the board. Jordan has it again on tour. And Jordan with the rebound. Kicked on the poke up by the goaltender. Here's Broberg. Broberg fires another save by Bro again on DeCord. Berggren wipes down. Montour trying to hold on. And a rebound made by McMahon. McMahon now finds to Everly. Gives that one with the hit. Malice again to Jordan. Here's Jordan, the fire, slap shot, rebound, Lavorsky, blocker save again by DeCord. Eli Trovinen has it again to Kakko. Past 90 seconds in the first period, Kakko waiting around, another save made again by Bennington. Kakko moving in with a shot, slightly, and a save again by Bennington. Jordan Kyrou exits it out. Final minute of the first period. Kyrou, shot stopped by DeCord. Kyrou trying to have a change off with the rebound. Smacked on the board. Trying to get a little help here from the Blues, and it's now Eli Tolvanen. He'll have it kicked away, and it's now Broberg. Broberg swings into Kyrou. Kyrou around the back of the hand. It's rebound Osayek. Osayek stops that one. Rebounded by Osayek. In the range. And this one will end the first period. 2-0 to score for St. Louis as they're trying to get a trail to get up the puck. Seattle starting with 2 goals in the game on the opening first period. But we'll see what happens, what the next period could be after this. Hey everyone, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL in regular season tournament. As the start-off happens to be Seattle, it's the start great opening puck drop as for Seattle take a 2-0 lead between Kaapo Kakko and Eli Tolvanen. And here's how they did after the first intermission. It was 21 over 20 shots on goal for Seattle, 12 over 11 for Seattle the other way on the hit. 303 over 144 seemed to be on the Blues for the time on attack. 85 over 75% of the passing effectiveness for Seattle, and it was 8 over 6 face-off wins for Seattle. They took it all in indefinitely to have that one not get it over. As for the big action tracker, only happens to be with the shots on goal for the Kraken, and a lot of shots on goal for the Blues. The big denied effort happened to be on DeCord. Only Jonathan Jordan had one shot to have that one stuck in on Joey DeCord. Now let's have it over to you, dear son of beast, of Seattle Kraken to start off with the first period. Well, Kaapo Kakko had that 4 shots on goal, and now with the first goal in the game, he's really seemingly like that this is the start off for his gaming effort. I mean, this is not what he was really doing it for, but anybody who can definitely make a knockout change, it has to be Kaapo Kakko and Eli Tolvanen. That's definitely where it started off. I mean, Seattle Kraken is on a great start, but as for St. Louis Blues, they started to do out terribly. They need to find someone else to get that opening look to have that one knocking it in. Now, how about you there, Roy, about St. Louis Blues? The Blues seem to be doing okay. I mean, they got to start getting a lot of shot repetitions in there, and the defenders are really kicking it up on that. They're cracking it. They're putting it on leash. They're trying to take it down. I mean, they wanted to beat over the number 1 seed to have it advance, but the underdog team may not be that important anymore. They really are starting to get that one necking out of the way. It's really going to be a hard matchup to have that one taking it over. I'm not sure if that's going to be one game to the other, but that is going to be a challenge one. Well, we'll see what happens with the second period. If they have their answers in there, you're going to have to start looking at big. Now let's go back over to St. Louis as we end the first intermission here for tonight's game. Let's see if the Blues find the answer or if the Kraken will take the unleash to have that moment. See you all later, folks, for the second intermission after the second period. Welcome back, everyone, as we're ready to get started for the second period in St. Louis. St. Louis down by 2, but there'll be an answer here in the second period as the puck is ready and we're back in action. All right, ballpoint fan, I know this is definitely where it gets things frustrated, and same thing with you, Terry Crews. Let's see what your statistics are for the first period recap. Well, the start-off happened to be with only Seattle Kraken. They are taking over the first period, and a long drought of the way, they didn't really start making a lot of maintaining some better offense. Their zones are pretty okay, but the pick on the rebound happened to be off the stick and deflected right into the net. I mean, Matty Beniers is finding it that the start-off for Kraken is really on the way, and they really are starting to find a first look of it for the goal. So therefore, they're trying to look for the win and head to the conference finals for the very first time. I'm pretty sure that they really are starting to look for some easier opinions for Seattle Kraken, and hopefully the St. Louis Blues might have to show it off if they can do it again. Well, I'm pretty sure the same thing happens with that, but 85% passing is really well done. I'm sure enough that the Blues are really starting to get a lot of pressures in there. Well, let's see how they answer it back in a second. Rich Neighbors should pass over to Jake Neighbors. It's now the Blues back in the Kraken territory. That off the wall goes, and it's rebounded up by Matty Beniers. It's big and back by Philip Broberg. Broberg now finds Neighbors. He looks to Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou backhander shot. Another save by the cord. And rebounded up by the Blues. He fires it. Another save made by the cord. Kyrou sends it over to Fowler. And another dive play. What a stop made by the cord. Oh, he's really trying to show how he can definitely have it. Joey DeCourt is really just diving in. That Kraken is going to take protection. I mean, I've seen this so far about the Kraken of the best effort by Joey DeCourt, and it seems like they're really starting to show him off on the better behavior. I mean, I don't know how that's going to happen with that. I mean, they got to start making that the call. Kakko's shot. What a save again by Binnington. Close enough save by Binnington. 17:15 to go in the second period. A lot of players will be dehydrated, and there will be able to have another roping the puck in the St. Louis territory. Now they're ready for the puck drop, and the win will be Dvorsky. Dvorsky the other way for St. Louis. Quick battle looking for the puck zone in the Seattle territory. Broberg, he goes down. Dvorsky takes a slam, and now Montour the other way. I don't see any penalty calls. I don't see any interference or cross-checking. I mean, that's definitely how it's going to get better or worse. But Seattle Kraken looks like they're looking forward into the conference finals. 10/9 face-off wins for Seattle, and they're still trying to hold things on with another upset of a game. Now the win for the Blues. Tyler Tucker look again to Snuggerud. Snuggerud finding Tim Holloway. Dylan Holloway. Back behind the net is Snuggerud. Thomas with a backhander. Another save on a cord, and it will stop the play with only 60:06 remaining. It's still easy enough here for the Blues as they're really starting to have some hungerness and trying to get their first goal after the win against Vancouver Canucks. And as for Seattle Kraken, they wanted to unleash the beast and then move on to the next round. I have no constipation on that. I have no words to say about the Seattle Kraken. They are really such a good team. You know, they definitely don't really have anybody who's great like any other players, but as you can definitely tell, they're Kapokako from the New York Rangers. He's playing that good. And the other side of it, well, I mean, you just have to do it all when you can. With Brendan Montour, you'll have to start it off there playing out there big and consequencing. Nothing happens to be the same, but hey, it's everybody's game. You gotta show when you gotta make a respect out of that. And we love Joey DeCoy. He's really one of the best goaltenders for Kraken, and that's for Seattle fans. I mean, I'm turning it off to see where it gets into it. I mean, I don't judge it on that for DeCoy. Don't even try to judge on that. But I'm saying this, ball play pen, they really are starting to have some looking offense. They're trying to see how they can definitely have some little bit of a contacting plays effort. And hopefully by the Blues, you'll start seeing why or why not. Buchnevich in corner, a real shot. Save it with a corner. Davis to Buchnevich, back in and save it again by DeCoy. Jordan Kyrou not along the boards. Rebound by Pareko. And bad pass given by Alex Larson. Jordan Everly to have it to Vince Dunn. Here's a strength on the numbers. That one is off the skater again by Pareko. And Jordan Kyrou will send it over to Broberg. Here's Jake Neighbors. Neighbors the other way. And the change off to Buchnevich. He fires another blocked shot. Evans looks over it again to Beniers. Beniers pass to Stephenson. He looks over to Tolvanen. Oh, a monster down by Kyrou. Took a slam off by Tolvanen. See that? That's what I mentioned to say about Tolvanen. And there is a big revenge afterward. Smack it, knock it, get away. That was a great powwow moment. Brendan Montour the other way. That one makes a rumble down right to the wall and a rebound by Torchenko. Dylan Holloway trying to look for his first goal in the game. That one is shot blocked, and Evans with the rebound with under 12 minutes in the second. Evans looking in. Off the chest to Stephenson. Colton Pareko with the rebound again to Holloway. Holloway in front. No cut motion. Now Dylan Holloway finds another round. Save by the court. And he let Tolvanen give it again to Stephenson. Seattle the other way in the St. Louis territory. Another save again by Binnington. And here's another one to Tolvanen. Again to Beniers. Beniers shot blocked by two defensive traffic effort. And Pareko will now find Cam Fowler. And then Snugglerug will have it over back behind it again to Finley. Cam Fowler the other way for the Blues. Blues back in the Kraken territory. Another huge shot save made again by Joey DeCourt. And Stephenson will have it over again to Gooderud. Here's Gooderud. Swing motion, almost been picked it off. And a shot made, he scores. Chandler Stephenson, and then that was an extension 3-0 for Seattle. This play is turning out badly, and the turnover has to give everyone an extra credit. Great save by DeCourt, but then the goaltender wasn't really set it up. And therefore, that makes another great save to have that better effort by Joey DeCourt. And when Chandler Stephenson has that ranged out, his shooting percentage is right in the net. I mean, you have to know about this. Joey DeCourt was really unstoppable. It doesn't mean that Seattle could definitely keep on knocking it down. Seattle Kraken are making great turnovers. Chandler Stephenson makes another great shot. Now with 10:03 past the midway mark, it's definitely going to get hotter to get back there. Donovan Dvorsky, another blocker save made by DeCourt. Vince Dunn along the wall. And a rebound by Seattle Kraken. He'll now find Chandler Stephenson. Here's Dunn. Dunn pass to Larson. Larson pass to Kako. Kako the other way. Fire glove save by the Binnington. Under 9 minutes in the second period. They'll be able to have another puck drop ready in the St. Louis territory. Joel Hofer is watching on Binnington at that point. I mean, this is definitely could be a replacement if they couldn't get that score going. Well, I mean that Joel Hofer, he just really has to watch that one out for Jordan Binnington. He is trying to struggle. He's trying to show it off really hard, and then As for Philip Grubauer, he's really impressed with Joey DeCord on the other hand for the Seattle bench, and they're really starting to have that a lot of energy. I mean, I know it's not the big day, but whenever you think about this, you're really going to need to start having some learning and contact in place to have it for Seattle. Foul along the loose puck. Pavel Buchnevich. Rebound by Doug. And there's Melanson. The other way now for Seattle. Kraken back into Blues territory is Melanson. Malek's back to Neighbors, and here's Buchnevich. 8 minutes to remain in the second period. Kyrou with a nifty move, and a shot big kick out save by DeCord. Melanson round the net, and rebound by Alexei. Alexei the other way now for Seattle. Pass to Neighbors is broken up, and now here's Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou on the wheels, fast training effort, and does not able to have that handle it off, and it's Montour to get back to Gooderoo. Big knockdown here for St. Louis. Neighbors in front, behind the net. Will have to stop and cover and play over under 7 minutes in the second period. Blues have been waiting so patiently, and it's not really what they really are starting to get into this, but they really are knocking it out. Lily just really wanted to see that first goal. I mean, he's been waiting that patient enough. I mean, don't be upset if it is. I mean, if you want to hear about Louis, you can definitely just make that one cheer on for it. I know it is. I mean, I'm not worried about him at all. No, not always. Not even anybody could definitely have that first goal, but that's what he wants to do. They want to get the team on the board. Got to see what happens with that. We'll see what it goes. Matty Beniers for the Seattle Kraken. An Ayers shot, that one is off a skater and retipped it wide, and now Tyler Tucker finding Robert Thomas. Thomas kicks it to Snuggerud, shots blocked and rebounded up by McCann. McCann has it to Kapokako. Kapokako slides a step. Snuggerud, knock him down, no penalty on Seattle. Kapokako the other way. Trying to get the pass to Dunn. Dunn shoots one and off the deflection again. Eli Tolvanen fouling for the loose puck. Back to Tucker. Tucker looks it again to Holloway. Under 5 minutes in the second period, he finds Suter. Suter's shot's blocked. Rebound again by Dunn. Kraken with new changes here in the line. Alex Larson now has it again to Chandler Stephenson. Stephenson moving into Larson. What a stop made by Binnington. 3:53 to go in the second period, and he'll have another puck drop coming in action. Snuggerud is really having some knocking down on Lindgren, and now that's where he really starts making a punch. The only feeling that happens with Snuggerud, he just really wants to take that fight and win. That's definitely on a better defensive winner than over the offensive side. 4:43 over 3:23 timeout attack. St. Louis Blues trying to look for some answers here. They're trailing by 3. Dvorsky wins the draw. Here's Philip Broberg. Pass out to Dvorsky. He looks to Parayko and a send pass to Droden. Droden in the middle. Nowhere to find. Peyton again to right. Here's Wright. In motion. Glove save again by Binnington. Binnington with 3:19 to go in the second period. Blues trying to need to answer it out. And now to win for a chance for the lead off here for the face-off. 36 number 29 kicks. And as a shot on goal, trying to hit it off the mark. And the rebound win will be on Wright. Another block shot, pad kicked out by Binnington. Right behind the net. Scrub along the boards. Rebound by Droden. Droden now finding Broberg. Broberg looks to Berggren. Berggren in the middle. Fires, glove save at the cord. Vince Day. Giveaway now for Seattle. Seattle looking for Keaton. Keaton in the zone. He shoots it. It was saved by Binnington. Pulling Mareko. Now have it off to Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou beaten over by the blue line. And now Larson. Here comes the heavy attacker. And a big street short saved by Binnington. Knock him down. Rebound by Broberg. Here's Buchnevich. Hosselzek. Good poke check on the defense by Alzayek. And it's back to McCann. Seattle with a new change-off. Here's McMahon. And off to Gooderoo. Gooderoo shoots, saved by Binnington. Now the Blues will have it in control with the puck. Final minute of second period as Neighbors is trying to get their first goal for their teams up ahead. Cassell fires Miss Wine. All the way out and back to Suter for the St. Louis Blues. Another hit for the Kraken. Rebound by Fowler. And Fowler will have it to Suter. Suter looks to Thomas. Thomas to pass to Dylan all the way. Again, Suter, Thomas shot, saved by the court. Blues won't get it. And Frederick Gooderoo will settle things down. Poked it, and that will do for the second period. Chandler Stephenson gets Seattle extended to 3, and it's a 3-0 lead. Seattle looking to find the goals for the Blues as they're trying to snuggle it, but couldn't find their answers in. We'll see what happens with the third period when we return in St. Louis after this break. Second intermission is coming up next after this. Hey everyone, welcome to the second intermission of the NHL Inregular Season Tournament. And this was not a big day here. As always, St. Louis Blues, the number 1 seeded team, are starting to get down in the rating as the number 5 seed of the underdog, taking control of it in the 3-0 lead over St. Louis. Here's how they did after the second period. It was 38 total shots on goal over 33 for St. Louis. Both teams have 20 hits in between. Then it was 453 over 46 time on attack for St. Louis. 92 over 81 passing effectiveness, and 16 wins for the faceoff for Seattle over 12 for St. Louis. Here the action tracker skier as we have a look at it right across with some hit and a lot of shots for the Blues as a save by the cord. But this wasn't enough here for Seattle as they have found the one squeezing answer for Seattle Kraken. Chandler Stephenson with only one goal to have it in, and they just keep on going. Alright, Santa Beast, I mean, this is definitely what the Kraken are looking for to win and then head on to the conference finals for the very first time. What do you see out there? I think that Chandler Stephenson really had made that great goal. I mean, it's a bit kind of a squeeze. And the only thing what we need to know about this now is that Chandler Stephenson had to really make that first goal a one tougher shot. This wasn't really easy enough that they're really keeping it in from the right timing digits. But as for Kraken, they've done a really good job on offense and a defense by Joey Decord. He really done it all when he can. Now over to you, Roy Cruz, about the St. Louis Blues, as they couldn't find their answers. It's definitely kind of hard enough to say St. Louis Blues couldn't find answers right away, and they've been really knocked it out by Seattle. They're pretty enough to they were trying to get that one stay in the game, but it looks like that Jordan Binnington, he's really trying to force for it, and it was not really easy enough because one player from the Canadian did really well. As for Jordan Binnington, all the other ones starting to go attack on Jordan Binnington. That really might have to explain it of why wouldn't this be the right choice for it. Well, it may never be, but as always, this could definitely be like it's undangerous and unthinkable. Maybe that might be why the Seattle Kraken really had that one, snucking it out, taking it over, and letting them score. Now for St. Louis Blues, they got to find the answers in there. And what is your take here for the third period if the Blues would have to score here? I'm going to say that the close game is definitely a 3-2 lead. St. Louis trying to see what they can definitely have a 2 spots in before the final period. And maybe a tie game. That might be my prediction. And what about you, Centerpiece? I'm betting to say that 4-3 is going to be the final score for in overtime as I'm going for Seattle Kraken. And they definitely are looking for another perimeter goal. And that's my bet to take on for the overtime win. So we'll see what happens if they do, if they can try that one up for St. Louis Blues, or let them have it denied. And as that odd will be bet to subject to change. So that's my consideration. All right, well, the match is on. We'll see what they can get to do as we end the second intermission. We say goodbye, folks. And we'll hope there is overtime. If there is or not, then looks like that we'll see what we can get. We'll see you all folks later for the post-game show after the game. So let's see what it takes for the next goal to be in. Back to St. Louis. Willie, all you. Third period is where this all finishes up. We'll see what it takes for the next goal. And here we go. Third period is about to begin. Will St. Louis find a goal to get on? It starts now. All right, folks. The second period is definitely a little bit out of the way. What is your thought of this one? Well, this is definitely what Seattle Kraken are really getting onto a better goal of the effort. Seattle Kraken is really doing so great in the game, but as for any periods, don't really mind the matter. They're really starting to have a lot of pressure and motion. This biggest offense may not be the easy one to have that one sailed away. But as you mentioned it before, this might be the only time that will tell. And I have to say about Chandler Stephenson, he really had a great goal in this contact range, and so many blanking on the shots. This is only one chance that happened with St. Louis that they couldn't be able to hold on. And then, therefore, Chandler Stephenson really had that one dipping it in. That is a great, marvelous shot. So therefore, that Chandler Stephenson has 14 in the game of this goal. And that is the first one that he has in regular season to face against the Blues. Matty Beniers wins the draw. Here's Chris Stutman. He will find it again to Eberle. Knocked him right toward the wall. Captain get back to Larson. On a chance blocking play in action, and it's rebounded by Broberg. Rallying for the scrumptious on the boards. Robert Thomas, the other way for St. Louis. He has it to Dylan Holloway. Holloway shoots one, number saved by the core. Jordan Eberle will find it over to Alex Larson. Larson moves it across. Around the way to McMahon. That one is kicking away, and now Broberg. Range over the other way. He fires, and number one is blocked up in the chain, and Jordan Eberle has it to Matty Beniers. Matty Beniers for the Kraken. Rushes. Chance to Larson. On that one is kicked it off, and it's Thomas with the puck in control. Chance and effort for the Blues to kick back in. Thomas rolls in front. That one is kicking away again by Seattle Kraken. The long right, the other way. The firing blocking the shot, and that's thrown in. We'll have it to Thomas. This is so much turnovers that they were getting. And that St. Louis Blues, they're not showing up some empty strategies. Because Seattle Kraken, they're taking it on leash and they're controlling it over. This is not what they really are doing this. Because that's definitely the harder choice that they got to stop on. And the Blues really need to have some energy strike to it. So they got to find a way to do it. Suter shot, another save by Joey DeCord. And it's back to Caton. Right again to Gritterer. Gritterer shoots, another save by Middington. Back to Philip Broberg with 15:30 to go in the third. St. Louis chances it up, striding across, and that one is broken up by Evans. Suter in front, Bergen, what a big rip down, and another shutdown by Joey DeCord. He is really in a high energy afterward. Joey DeCord really had it all. He scores. Kakko, 2 goals in a game. And they are now extended up 4-0. Well, another save happens. And now Kakko, he's delivering this message. And that definitely gets right bypassed by Jordan Middington. This doesn't mean to happen, but they really had taken it over with another great goal. You weren't expecting how Jordan Eberle was getting a change into this. But as for Kakko, he lifts it up. That's a great goal. Jordan Eberle, as watching on Kakko, he now has 2. And if he has 3, this will be another hat trick to have 3 in a row. He has been incredible so far. Kakko's really delivering the message here, and he's trying to show it all how it's down. Oh, he almost would have made that goal. But as for Joey DeCord, he denies it. Joey DeCord's just really giving a lot of pressure effort here. And then trying to have that block shot. This is a great save and you were able to do for him. And he is finishing all what he can and trying to keep that one out. That's his best player of the night for the best save of the game. A lot of time left in the period. The Blues are trying to look for some goals here, and they're getting beaten down by the Kraken. Buchnevich wins the draw. He fires one. A huge save again by the core. That pass broken up, and he cannot get a rebound here. Kako. Right around the back of the net. Outside now finding Montour. Montour looks to Stephenson. Stephenson clears it around the net and rebounded by Fowler. Montour has that one across now finding to Matty Beniers. He looks to Eberle. Eberle fires. Save it again by Beniers. Now big rebel on the wall here as Jake Neighbors will settle the lead. Bank around the wall, Jordan Kyrou in the middle. That is another big turnover for St. Louis as Kraken given over by Tolman. They're now getting a good start afterwards as St. Louis Blues are getting pushed over. And now they're pulling into the side of the road. They're not going to try to force it back if they can get there through. In front, oh, what a save by Bennington. He is almost unlucky. And as for Joel Hofer, he will be watching how Bennington will do. Well, you may notice how Eli Tolvanen, he made that one with a smackdown, and that goes with a bang. That's a big knockdown. And you ever see about Eli Tolvanen, you would have to feel this, and he would be knocking it over completely, and that would be robbed out again. That's another big monster down. The Blues back in offense now find Dylan Holloway. He shoots for it twice for an advantage, and this one is denied again by Decor. Under 12 minutes in the third period, and they'll be ready to have that puck drop ready. Decor's team still firing it up. Under 12 minutes remaining in the spur. Now the win. Thomas blocked the shot. Rebounded up by the Kraken, and now it's done. Will now have it swing it to McMahon. McMahon finds over to Beniers, and he looks to Eberle. Eberle shoots, stop made by Decor on Bennington. And only 11:23 remaining in the third period. Here's what's coming up for tomorrow night's game. Tomorrow night here at 7:30, it's the Capitals, and they will face against the New York Islanders at District of Columbia. It's the 1 versus the 4th seed of the battle. And after that game, they will be the other side of it. As for the Flames, they are home to face against the Chicago Blackhawks for our next game starting at 9 p.m. All games will be subject to change in different regions of the time zones. Be ready for another preparation for our next game. And don't miss out the Stanley Cup playoffs at 26, returning after the regulation tournament success. Only on Son of Beats. And the future home will be SOB's Gaming after 1,000 subscribers reach. Robert Thomas. The other way now for the Blues. That one is kicked off the stick. And everybody is heading over to the bench. They will have to leave it here. Spunkin on the plug and then rush down. And for the Gooderer with the other hand. Off of Tucker, stick. Past midway mark in the third period. He now finds Jonathan Drurin. Sends deep to Snuggerud. Snuggerud. And finding the cut. Stop made by the cord. My goodness, Joey Decard, he's denying it all. Stopping the play with only 9:25 to go. I wouldn't believe so. As Joey Decard is really getting to have that one strike-footed up, he is really good. Can you believe this guy? That's simply what Joey Decard is. The King of the Unleashed Kraken is really starting to show how he did to keep that one out of here. I really got to say about this here. And when I mentioned this one here, Ballpoint Pen, you know that's Joey Decard. He's really like doing all his habit of favor. He's really like taking it all, shutting down everything. I mean, he's really up to the beast. Gotta show him some support. The win for Kraken. Up high over the net and off the glass and rebounded by Buchnevich. Jake Neighbors on a rush. That one gets whipped in and now he's lingering. Now finds Evans. Evans pass over in the middle. And here's another cut. Back to Broberg. He looks to Neighbors. Neighbors the other way now for the Blues. Blues in transition. Neighbors in front. Save made by Decor. Rebound behind the net. Back to Buchnevich. Oh, backhander cut motion is denied again by Decor. Here's Eli Tolvanen. He will fire it under a save. On a block shot. Borrego finding the Suter. Rebound by Wright. 7:20 to go in this third period. Inregular. Stick lifted. And this one is another carry on by Peyton. Evans outside. Peyton shot. He scores. Fans of Blues are starting to leave their seats as Peyton's first goal in regular season tournament. Yeah, I think everybody is leaving. And as for Berkeley Peyton, he is desperate underneath there for his first goal of the game. Now this is a big shocking on this point. And now as you see, a lot of people are leaving their fans here at St. Louis, and therefore as Seattle, they're starting to show it off. Peyton, that was his first goal of the game. And beating by Binnington wasn't really easy enough to play afterwards. That's another big knockdown. So therefore, as Binnington exits, it will be Joel Hofer. He'll be a replacement for the backup goaltender. Yeah, everybody has been disappointing on Jordan Binnington. And as for now, as Joel Hofer, you'll have to see whether he can definitely handle this for the rest of the regulation period. Binnington had a great night, but it wasn't his time to have that recharged up. He's definitely been knocked down, and so it's been said farewell to him. Here's Dvorsky. The other way now for St. Louis. A stop by Decor. Montour finds McCann. And Chandler Stephenson. The other way for Seattle. Chandler Stephenson's glove snatch made. That'll be his first save of the night for Joel Hofer. Joel Hofer's really like giving a great snatching of the save, but that's really what he has to do for him. You have to make that easier one. The change-up has to be Hofer, and hopefully he'll definitely will try to kick that one out no matter where it gets. That's going to be on his night on the day. Jordan now finding Dvorsky. Dvorsky in middle. Knocked down by two defenders, and Kako sends it to McCann. McCann fires it, and a number one shots went wide, and it's rebound by the side. Nice shoot, saved by Hofer. McCann out. Back to Jack Finley. Looks to Suter. Suter in. Fowler. Fires the save by Decor. They're in the final 5 minutes in the third period. Blues starting to get another face-off win on the attack zone, and they're ready for another puck drop. Thomas wins the draw. He fires it, and that brokens the stick and will sit up to the netting on the play. The Blues fans in desperation, and 55 over 43 shots on goal, and that bet was changed. And as for being said now, I do have like an update for you, Son of Beast, because the object change has already been slightly up ahead, so it looks like up a 4 for Kraken. You were very close afterwards, but then it took it over. I know it did. I mean, I understand that my take for this bet would have been like an overtime, but it seems like it is not. And therefore now, the Blues are going to have to be in a shutout loss in the second round, and Seattle Kraken, it looks like they were going to have to face off in Seattle to face the winning team between the Blackhawks or the Flames. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but as you've seen it so far how Seattle did, they are definitely unleashing it. They're killing it, and they're doing it all what they can. I know it is happening right now, but let's see what changes off if the Blues can definitely get them on the board without a shutout loss. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure how they're going to do this. Well, let's keep the finger crossed if they're on the board or not. All right, thank you so much. As McCann, broken by Holloway. Emily has gone and fires a shot. Another save by Hofer. Under final 5 minutes presented by Discover, and here's Fowler finding Discover run. Sends it deep, lifted over around the net. And Jordan Everly. He gets that one bucket along the boards. Rebound by Holloway. Outside front, Thomas with a big save by the court. And now here's Dunn. Dunn looks to McCann. McMahon to Everly. Everly in zone. Pass to McMahon. McMahon shoots it. Blocked again. Here's Cam Fowler finding over to Suter. Suter knocked him down. Rebound by Suter. Stick lifted. Suter. Change over for the Blues. Saved again by the core. Suter outside. Pistol. Shot. Blood. Saved by the core. Just under 2 minutes in the third period. And he'll have another puck drop ready. And now I have an update for Silver Spoon, who had the best player of the night. Well, as they all say, the king of the Kraken had to be Joe
Decor. Joey Decor is really like all the save that he has. And for anybody, you really have to show how they can definitely take all the advantage and have that one slapping it in. I'm pretty sure that the goaltender has done some amazing job, and whatever happens, this is definitely where it gets to a hurt, to a bang, and to a finish. Joey Decor is heading to himself, and as a road trip win, it'll be 2 times in a row, and he'll be back home for the conference finals to face against the Flames or the Blackhawks. Let's see how they will pressure it on for the overnight of the game, for Joey Decor's off game before the next opponent. Back to you guys.
Thank you guys so much. And as we now head our way to a final minute in the third period, 5-0 to score. Seattle shuts down it completely. And as for the Blues, they have been wound it up, and it's definitely the end of the road. We have that one swept out as Kraken unleashes the Blues with a big score, 5-0.
It's definitely what happens with Seattle. They are really up to this. And for the big road trip win, they definitely could not let it happen.
Wow, another goal, and that's it for now. Blues fans, it's been that long night, but as Shane Wright, he wins it all. Well, that's what happens with this one, and beating by Hofer was not a single digit. You know what happens with this rebound, and that goes off the skater, and then this rebound by Shane Wright, he took it at all. That goes right between the legs and beats by Hofer. Now it's all over. Seattle are going to be moving on to the quarter conference finals for the first time. Seattle Kraken as the visitors at home for Seattle are starting to make their visit, and as for St. Louis, they're starting to be happy enough, and the fans who came here had enjoyed their night because of a big shutout loss for the Blues. It wasn't very that perfect. Yeah, I almost said perfect outcome. Whatever they did, they tried and tried. Until it all stand up. Well, as always being said here, Ballplay Pen, I appreciate your support, and this was the end of the season. We could have done with all of it, everybody. And as for you, Silver Spoon, you've been the best, and hopefully we'll see you around here for the postseason. Happy Banners.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. And so long, St. Louis. Until further season. Thank you for everything.
St. Louis with a shutout loss, and then Seattle Kraken, they'll earn their second road trip win. In the second round, they're close to the conference finals. Joey Decor with 2 wins in a row in the regular season tournament.
Well, everybody is happy enough that the Court had made a wonderful season enough, and as the Court is definitely giving you some slight opportunity with the win, they upset the crowd. The number 1 seed team couldn't stop shooting because they tried it, and as the Court, he definitely did so. What a way to end it.
Along my broadcast partner, and along with the entire crew of Silver Spoon, along with Terry Crews and Ballplay, I'm Willie. Thank you for joining us here for the Inregular season tournament, and we'll see you all next time for the postseason advantage of the Kraken game. Good night in St. Louis. So long until for their next season. All right, thank you, Willie. A big shutout loss happens to be the St. Louis Blues, and Seattle Kraken guarantees their win to head to the conference finals for the first time. Shane Ray is your first star player of the game, 3rd in a row, has 1 goal, only 2 assists, and 2 hits. Only did for that. Then the second star player of the game for Seattle goes to Kapukako with 2 goals and 3 hits. He only does that so to have that one entertaining it and try to beat over with the goal. This wasn't pretty easy enough to have that one slicking it out. And tonight's first star player of the game goes to Joey Decor. 61 saves, stays undefeated. At this point, he makes a great save. And the final statistics is right across the board. 61 over 49 shots on goal for St. Louis. 32 over 29 for the hits on Seattle. Then 651 over 544 for St. Louis on the time on attack. 90 over 85 passing effectiveness, and it was 25 over 23 face-off wins for St. Louis. So that's it. Number 1 seed goes down, Seattle moves on. So that's it for the first night here, but don't worry, we'll have the second night underway with you soon to see what comes in. This first night was like a big upset for real, but we'll see what happens, what the second night goes to between the Islanders and the Capitals and the Flames against the Blackhawks. That's it, fellas, and we're about to wrap things up. So long for now, for as well as the NHL and regular season tournament on EA Sports Style. This is Roy Cruz and Son of Peace signing out. You've been watching the NHL regular season of the gameplay on EA Sports. Tune in with us next time with the biggest motion to see what changes for the playoffs. That'll be underway after conclusion of the regular season tournament. So long, everyone.
If you don't, somebody will.